This is Kizzie, and she was named after a dog named Kismet that the guardian had, that he used, or that neighbor had of the guardian when he was growing up, and he used to call her Kizzie, so that's her name. She's a great little dog, but she needs some manners and some work with other dogs. One thing she likes to do is run right up to another dog and sometimes kind of quasi-nipping at them. For a dog, running straight up to another dog is confrontational. In the wrong situation, she might find a dog that it does not like it and attacks her. Mm-hmm. And if, in a very worst case scenario, it's rude to the other dog, and it can cause some behavior problems. Now, I have the closest thing I have to a mentor wrote a book called Feisty Fido, and she came up with a solution for dogs that are reactive on the leash. The same principle will apply here, so I'm going to go over the main technique that she shares, which is teaching the dog to focus. She calls it watch in her book. I have a different command for watch, so I call it focus. To do this, I have a handful of treats. I use the Tricky Trainer chicken liver from Cloud Star because they have such a strong aroma. They work really well, and you want something that's high value that's going to get the dogs, really get their attention, and stuff that has a strong scent. A meat-based treat is going to work best. When I do this, I want to be sitting down, and I want the dog positioned between my knees like she is here. We're going to do it kind of profile-wise so you can watch it. Now, I imagine that there's like a tunnel of vision going here between her face and my face. When I give her the treat, I want to make sure that I'm holding it in this field of vision so she's looking at the treat and my face at the same time. That's important. A lot of people give the treat like this or over here. What you want to go is here and then here. So you're going a little bit towards your nose and then straight towards her head. And then you're saying the word focus every time we pop it in her mouth. Now, these have a strong smell. So she's going to go for my hands first. I'm going to put my hands on my knees. Now, because she's a little bit shorter than my knees are, to make it easier, I want this to be at nose level, so I'm going to put my feet out to the side. So now when I put my hands down here, you see it's right at her nose. She's going to where the cell is strongest. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not moving my hand. I'm waiting for her to voluntarily look at me in the face. Now she's going to go through everything she can go through to get the treat. Then she's going to look up to me and why am I not getting the treat? Yeah. As soon as she does that, I'm going to reward her by giving her the treat. Focus. Now that was about a half of a second that I had to give her that treat. So you have to have laser focus. When you're doing it and your spouse or somebody's talking to you, don't look at them. Look at the dog exclusively. At least initially. After doing this for a while, the dog will just start staring at you in the face. But again, I'm not moving my hand. I'm not saying no. And I'm just putting a little, and I'm not even saying no to that, and that's normally something I would disagree with, but I'm waiting for her to look at me in the face. That's the only thing that's going to get her the treat. Now, if I focus. So it's two movements. I do it 1 second up, and then I take a 45-degree angle, and then I go straight towards the dog's mouth. And a lot of people, when they're doing it, they go like this. So like, way too slow. It should be boom, boom, at least initially. Now I wonder, I'll switch it a little bit so it's more profile. All right. Now when I hold it, I'm holding it between my thumb and forefinger so I can pop it in her mouth right away. A lot of people keep it in the palm of their hand and then they fumble with the treat when they want to deliver, which slows down your timing. Timing is everything when it comes to dog training and dog behavior. He's very determined.
Mm-hmm.
Focus. Even though I was watching, I was a little tiny bit late. Focus. And then I immediately reload after each one. So I want her to know that I have a treat ready to go. Focus. Focus. Starting to get a little bit faster. We're starting to pick up some speed. And I'm shielding it in such a way where she's licking my hand and she's not getting a treat. Focus. But I don't know what the timestamps are, but if you look at this to the beginning of the video to now, there we go. Focus.
That was better, yeah.
She's looking at me faster and faster as opposed to going directly to where the smell is. Focus, because that's what gets her the treat. This now, a lot of dog trainers will teach this by holding the treat up next to their eye. You can do that, but you're luring the dog to look up at you in the eye. I want the dog doing it on its own. Focus, and reward her for doing it, because we're going to use this technique when we see another dog. And focus. And when you see another dog, or she sees another dog, this treat is not going to be as appealing as it is right now. Right now, this treat is amazing. But when there's another dog, focus. Nearby, it's going to be anywhere near as amazing. And so the dog will be more appealing to her. Focus. So this is why we really have to practice this a lot. Now when I'm doing this, I practice this with I have more treats now because this is the first time we're doing it, but I usually do it with about 12 treats. Because she's a smaller girl, I would tear the treats in half. And do it with about 10 to 12 treats each time you do this. You want to do this several times throughout the day. And each time it should only take you about a minute or two to do it. So you want to maybe, for her, I'd like to see you doing it about 4 to 5 times a day.
And then eventually focus will be the word that gets her to get off of...
Focus. Well, you can redirect her before she gets in trouble. I'll talk about that here in a sec. But when you're doing this, at first it's 1 second, 1 second. Focus. The next time you do it, I'll do it this next time. I'll count it out. 1 second, 1, 2 seconds. Focus. Eventually, you want to get to the point where it's 1 second, 20 seconds.
And she's just locked in.
And she's locked in like
on focus.
Didn't have one there. There you go. Focus. So by doing this consistently in the house, now dogs don't generalize, so we don't want to do it just in this chair. I would do it here, sitting there, sitting
outside,
there, sitting on the bench. Well, first we only want to do it
in the house.
And at first when you're doing it, it's 1 second, 1 second. So today and tomorrow, today all 5 times you practice it, 1 second, 1 second. By the time you're ending today, she's pretty much almost be staring at it the whole time. By tomorrow, then you go 1 second, 2 seconds for all 12 treats, all 5 times. The next day, go to 3 seconds. Now you can play with this, but be careful. The mistake most people do is they move too far, too fast. So you want to, if you're doing it like you go to 3 seconds to 5 seconds, and you get to 4 seconds of going like this, and she looks away.
You got to go back to 1 or 2.
So back up a step, and then help her practice that 1. Keep on doing this. So I'd like to get to the point where by the end of a week, 10 days max, you can have her staring at you for 20 seconds in the house, anywhere. Make sure there's no food around, nobody's eating. It's easy. But eventually, it'd be nice if we had somebody else here. Or we had a dog barking. Maybe we have an episode of The Dog Whisperer or something on TV, so we can have a dog barking, something that will be a distraction. And again, we're going to do it in the bedroom, the bathroom, all over the place. Once we can do it in the house, and she's consistent, the next step is to go outside. And I would do it literally in your hallway right outside your apartment. And just do it right there, because that's really close, but it's outside of the area that I live in, so it's a little bit more stimulating. Then do it maybe by the elevators. Maybe do it in the elevator. And at first when we get to 20 seconds inside, then when we go back outside, we're gonna go back to 1 second, 1 second.
Like the garage, like getting near the car door.
But before you do it in a whole bunch of different places, do it right outside.
And then branch out. But then eventually I could do it at Rover. And at the dog park.
But the key is, again, you have to go very slow, otherwise it will not work.
That makes sense.
So when you go right outside your door, do it right outside your door and then go back to 1 second, and then maybe after you do it 2 or 3 times, so she's staring, then go to 2 seconds. And before you go to the garage or elsewhere, make sure you get to 20 seconds right outside your door. Then by the elevator, go back to 1 second. Now, as you're doing this, you'll be able to move fast. You can maybe 1 second, 3 seconds, 6 seconds, 9 seconds, whatever it is.
She might get better at it.
And eventually, she will if you practice it. But this is an exercise that really works better if you're repeating it multiple times a day throughout the day. Now, when you get to the point where you can do it outside, and I would probably use your hallway first because this is the best way to do it. Put her on your leash, and as you're walking, we'll see if we can get her to do it here. So as we're walking, focus. Here. Come on. Let's do it this way. Come on. Focus.
Well, she watches while she walks.
While you're walking, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, and eventually we want to get to the point where we can do it when we're on walks. Every once in a while, pull out a treat and focus and go for a couple steps, and then give her the treat, focus. And it gets to the point where you can take 20 steps with her looking up at you, with you holding the treat in front of you as you're both walking. So now she's paying attention to you. So when she sees another dog, what you can do is when she sees the dog, she's going to be like kind of happy. And when she sees the other dog, she's going to lock in. Usually they go like this. They lower their head and start staring. That stare is a communication. That's actually a warning to the other dog. Hey, I got you in my eyesight. I know, I'm aware of you. And then if she starts kind of approaching and she's doing it stiff, that's a challenge. Just like us, if we're at a bar and some guy kind of says something to us, like bumps into us, and then we see him sitting across the bar and he's staring at us, he's giving us fingers, and he's like, challenging. Then he starts yelling at us, and he starts getting closer and closer to us. The closer he gets, the more intense our reaction is going to be, and the more defensive we'll get. Same sort of thing for the other dog. That's what she does, yeah. When she's approaching it, that other dog is getting more and more worked up. And it could be an intimidation thing for her, and some humans like to intimidate. They enjoy that sort of thing. There's some dogs that enjoy provoking a response in other dogs as well. So we want to make sure that she understands that that's not going to work, and this is a great way to redirect her attention. Up. A little dog training tip: if you want to train your dog and your dog's not losing it, notice how I keep them coming. I want to stay within an inch of her nose. I'm going to try to get her in an up position. Up.
She's like, I'm so comfortable though.
Good girl. Come on. Up. So as soon as she achieves the position I want to give her the treat and say the word. Now, anytime you use a treat, make sure you're saying the command word right after the treat goes into the dog's mouth. That makes the command a little bit brighter because it's associated with that treat. So again, practice this and get to the point where in the house you can get her staring. Within 7 days, she'll look at you for 20 seconds, then start doing it gradually more.
And focus. Eventually, you could do it at other times throughout the day, just with any command, sit or down. But mostly, you want focus.
Well, I would do that with passive training.
Yeah. Okay. But
the focus. This is an exercise that's specific, so that if she sees another dog and she starts staring, you say focus.
Focus.
And you say it with the other dog far enough away, she'll look up at you. Now, if the dog is too close or two dogs too animated, she won't. If that's the case, you need to increase the distance between her and the other dog until you can get her to sit and focus.
Yeah.
Dog won't sit if they're not comfortable in the situation. So one of the things that dogs do when they're uncomfortable is they increase the distance. They have something called fight or flight. Mm-hmm. Flight is to move away and increase the distance. A lot of dogs get leash aggression because the leash prevents them from moving away. So if your dog can't give you your attention when you're doing the focus after you've fully established it inside, and don't try using it outside till you can get at least a 20-second focus inside. Yeah. But if your dog can't focus once you've achieved that, then start increasing the distance between her and whatever she's focused on until she can focus on you. All right, one more time for the road. Focus. That was much better. This is how you can teach your dog to focus.
That's good.